bonjour.
Bonjour Jean-Luc, auditeur et internaute, bonjour.
Nous retrouvons pour la private notice question du leader de l'opposition, axée le Agalega. Donc, ce mardi, le leader de l'opposition paie envie que donc la liste des infrastructures qui finissent de construire ou alors qui est en cours de construction depuis 2019 dans l'île. Agalega donc fait l'objet de beaucoup d'interpellations parlementaires, Jagdish, depuis ces derniers mois, ces dernières années même, par rapport à la présence indienne sur l'île. Et nous comprenons qu'il y a un lien donc, qui peut essayer d'être établi par l'idée de l'opposition entre sa PNQ là et toute la question indienne.
Oui, bonjour. Donc, Jean-Luc, ces relations stratégiques entre Maurice et l'Inde qui tournent autour de sa question qu'Xavier Duval peut poser donc ce matin. Alors, Agalega, c'est une île qui trouve à environ 1100 km de Maurice. Il y a l'ouest de l'Inde, donc il y a une position stratégique après occupation des Chagos, c'est-à-dire l'île de Diego Garcia, avec une base anglo-américaine. Alors là, Xavier Duval pose une question et qui a 3 volets. Il peut demander donc fournir la liste d'installations qui est construire ou en cours de construction depuis 2019. Donc, il peut cibler le second mandat de Pravin Jagnat, le coût total estimé, sa construction là, jusqu'à qu'il est fini, donc complété. Également, nombre d'employés qui sont nécessaires à Agalega ainsi qu'ils autres nationalités. Alors là, nous constatons que dans la presse internationale, depuis 2020-2021, il y a beaucoup de questions concernant Agalega, polémique et aussi installation, développement. Jusqu'à là, le Premier ministre Pravin Jagnat a toujours repoussé c'est-à-dire insinuation qui fait qu'il y a une installation, une base indienne sur l'île d'Agalega. Alors, l'idée développement peut faire, c'est surtout sur le côté touristique, également l'idée qui ça l'île là donc pour permettre un meilleur avec développement pour avoir une relation beaucoup plus directe donc avec Agalega. Et c'est un accord qui finit signé en 2015 entre le gouvernement mauricien et le gouvernement de l'Inde pour le développement. Quand le Premier ministre Narendra Modi vient de Maurice, donc les fin annonce un gros budget pour le développement d'Agalega. Alors c'est là que nous pouvons anticiper qui fait sa développement la peut faire. L'Inde fin toujours intéressée avec la surveillance dans la région de l'océan Indien, à l'ouest de l'océan Indien. Il y a même un accord avec l'Australie, avec l'Amérique et aussi la France, donc pour surveiller la région. C'est la stratégie de sécurité qui est beaucoup plus importante dans sa question-là. Et là, nous pouvons guetter si vraiment le Premier ministre Pravin Jagnat pour répondre et pour dire s'il y a une base qui peut créer ou bien il peut maintenir ce qu'il finit toujours dire, c'est-à-dire le développement touristique et infrastructurel dans l'île.
Alors, un mot avant que la séance démarre, finira une manifestation, encore une fois, de parlementaires qui quitte l'hémicycle pour venir dans la rue tout à l'heure pour de l'opposition. Donc, pour demander départ du gouvernement et du Premier ministre aussi. Et donc, c'est toujours la même accusation donc de haute trahison. Et cette séance parlementaire s'annonce vraiment animée parce que le Premier ministre peut causer pour la première fois depuis les dernières révélations. Il y a une question par rapport à la
beaucoup de questions également.
À l'occasion, Révinola, tout à l'heure, nous allons en direction de l'Assemblée nationale pour le début de cette PNQ.
Questions addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister. Whether in regard to the islands of Agalega, he will give a list of the facilities constructed or in the process of construction thereat since year 2019, excluding community projects, indicating the full cost of construction to completion, estimated total cost of maintenance once operational, stating who will bear same, and the number of operational staff required and of which nationality.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for far too long in the past, Agalega was relegated to the status of poor parent and even the Outer Islands Development Corporation, in the early days, did not concentrate on its infrastructural development needs. The runway in Agalega, which was constructed in the year 1984-1985, was in a very bad condition. The landing and takeoff of the dossier aircraft became a challenging exercise as it posed serious risks both for the aircraft and its passengers and crew. With each landing and takeoff of the dossier, the runway sustained considerable damage, so much so that a decision had to be taken by the National Coast Guard to limit as far as possible flying to Agalega only for urgent medical evacuation. Some remedial works were carried out in 1989 to resurface the airstrip, but regrettably, the bitumen materials used did not adhere to the surface, and over time, it started to peel off again. Since 2003, several attempts had been made to upgrade the airstrip in Agalega, but these had not been successful. Access by sea to Agalega is also severely constrained owing to inadequate infrastructure and facilities. As a consequence, operational difficulties for loading and unloading of goods and embarkation and disembarkation of passengers resulted in delays and huge additional financial costs. In view thereof, and with a view to improving and modernizing air connectivity in Agalega, it became imperative that a project for the construction of a new runway in Agalega be implemented. Moreover, the existing jetty in Agalega also had to be improved for proper and safer embarking and disembarking of passengers and goods. The possibility of the Indian government providing assistance to upgrade the airstrip in Agalega had been raised with the Indian authorities on several occasions since 2005. It was as far back as March 2014 that the Indian authorities proposed that the government of Mauritius could consider preparing a detailed project report for the infrastructural work in Agalega and setting up a joint monitoring committee. The Indian side also agreed to consider deputing relevant technical experts as and when required to assist in the preparation of the detailed project report up to the final implementation of the project. In August 2014, 3 Indian technical experts proceeded to Agalega for the preparation of a comprehensive work plan for the implementation of the projects. Subsequently, both sides finalized a memorandum of understanding, and the then government approved the memorandum of understanding on 31st of October 2014. The MOU was signed during the visit of His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India to Mauritius in March 2015. A copy of the Memorandum of Understanding was laid on the table of the National Assembly on 31st of March 2015 during the reply made to the private notice question on Agalega. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to point out again in no uncertain terms that the Memorandum of Understanding and the agreement signed between the Government of Mauritius and the Government of India both satisfied the principles of mutual benefit as well as that of being in strict compliance with the sacrosanct principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I have already stated on several occasions in this House, there are two main projects that are currently being implemented in the island of Agalega, namely the construction of a new airstrip and a jetty. The projects are being executed by Afcons Limited and are being entirely financed by the Government of India. The new runway will be of 3 kilometers in length and 60 meters wide in a north-south orientation parallel to the existing runway. The associated infrastructure will comprise an air traffic control tower, passenger terminal building, aircraft hangar, and runway lighting, amongst others. It will be an all-weather concrete runway with capabilities for day and night operations. As regards the new jetty, it will have a berthing face of 255 meters in length. The jetty will have associated infrastructure for providing services such as freshwater, firefighting, electricity, and crane. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that 88% of civil works related to the new airstrip project have been completed. The remaining civil works are likely to be completed by September 2022. However, the works on associated infrastructure, such as air traffic control tower, passenger terminal building, aircraft hangar, and electrical substation, were severely affected due to lack of mobilization of specialized manpower resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Building works for the associated infrastructure are likely to be completed by January 2023, while communication and air traffic control equipment installation and commissioning are expected to be completed by June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, in regard to the jetty, I am informed that around 80% of civil works have been completed so far. However, considering the adverse weather conditions in the first quarter of this year and the prevailing harsh sea conditions, the civil works have suffered important delays and are now expected to be completed by December 2022. Works related to the associated infrastructure for the jetty project have also been impacted by shortage of workers and are now due to be completed by April or May 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, as I stated earlier, the new airstrip and the jetty projects and their associated infrastructure are entirely financed by the Government of India. I am informed that the tendered cost to Afcons was Indian rupees 1,914 crores, amounting to approximately 8.8 billion Mauritian rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that it is premature at this stage to come up with an estimated total annual cost of maintenance as the project is still at implementation stage. Once implemented, the infrastructure will remain the property of the Republic of Mauritius. However, the cost for maintenance, operation, and functioning will be borne by the Government of Mauritius with the support of the Government of India. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part C of the question, it is also premature at this stage to determine the number of operational staff that will be required. However, in regard to staffing, except for scarcity areas necessitating foreign expertise or unavailability of adequately qualified local human resource, the facilities will be manned by Mauritian personnel and will be under the overall control of the Mauritian authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I have stated on several occasions in this House, the agreement signed with the Government of India on the infrastructural projects in Agalega is intended only for the implementation of measures to promote, protect, and safeguard our maritime security needs in the following areas, amongst others: surveillance and monitoring of our vast EEZ of 2.3 million square kilometers, counter-piracy, counter-terrorism, counter-narcotics and human trafficking, controlling poaching and illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, provision of hydrographic services, promoting economic development, including blue economy initiatives, emergency response, including search and rescue, marine pollution response, and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the infrastructural development projects currently underway on the island will also go a long way towards improving the standard of living of our Agalean brothers and sisters, as it will generate significant economic activities on the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, I seize this opportunity to once again gratefully acknowledge the precious support and assistance that the Government of the Republic of India has constantly been extending to Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to reiterate what I stated in my reply to the PNQ on 18th of May 2021, that as for Rodrigues, where development has been spearheaded and accelerated every time the MSM has been leading the government, we are putting Agalega on the path of development and progress with the assistance of India. We want development to reach every single part of our territory, since our people remain at the heart of our development goals. We also stand committed to develop the islands of the Chagos Archipelago once we are able to exercise our full sovereign rights on the islands as determined by the United Nations, the International Court of Justice, and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Thank you.
Mr. Prime Minister, let us look at the facts. There was a memorandum of understanding in 2015. This memorandum of understanding includes a confidentiality clause, but nevertheless was tabled in Parliament. This memorandum of understanding was for a project worth 800 million rupees, already highly increased from the original 300 million that Mauritius had planned to spend on connectivity. So we are moved from 800 million rupees in 2015 to nearly 9 billion rupees that he's saying at the old dollar rate, and now with COVID, etc., we're talking about 13 billion rupees or more that the Indian taxpayer is putting in this facility at Agalega. So the first thing I'm going to ask, since we have an outdated memorandum of understanding, what is the objection now to file all the addendums to this, as especially since the then Minister of Foreign Affairs of India has stated publicly that India has no objection to full publicity being given to this project and its implications for national sovereignty of Mauritius. I'm adding the last bit.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are giving full information with regard to the two projects, not only today, but if we look at the number of PNQs, PQs that have been asked in this National Assembly, every time, on each occasion, we have provided all the information that has been requested by the opposition. Apart from that, of course, there have been also public statements made by myself, by members of the government, by other people who are in one way or the other concerned with this project. And therefore, we have been operating in full transparency, giving all the details. Now, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is saying, why is it that the agreement is not being made public? Again, there are some agreements that are made public because the two parties have to agree on making it and rendering it public. There are some agreements whereby the two parties agree that it will not be made public. This is one of them, and this is not the first time that this is happening. We have had in the past, I think if the Honourable Leader of the Opposition will recall, he has been a member of a Labour PMSD government in which there are certain occasions where agreements have been signed with a foreign country, and in this very House, numerous questions have been asked about this agreement. I don't want to mention any agreement in particular, but systematically the answer has been that there is a confidentiality clause in the agreement, and therefore it cannot be made public and not even to be tabled in this House. But I'm not saying that what is right now for you when you were in government is wrong now. Why should we go according to the same principle? And that is why this is not made public.
I'd like to remind the Prime Minister that the Indian Minister of Foreign Affairs stated in Mauritius that the Republic of India has no objection to all this being made public. Then, given that has been made publicly, what is the objection of the Republic of Mauritius to making this public?
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I am not aware of this statement that the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is referring. Of course, I will check, because I'm not aware of this statement. I will check and I will find out. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will not comment on something which I'm not aware of. But what I will say is what I am aware of. I have discussed with India on this issue, and both countries have agreed that there is a confidentiality clause in the agreement, and therefore it is not going to be made public. That is what I can say, and I maintain what I'm saying. I've discussed with India. I've discussed with the Prime Minister of India. I hope you don't doubt my word.
Your word. I doubt every word that you say. I doubt every word that you say. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Minister and Prime Minister this question. India, the Indian taxpayer, is going to spend 24 billion Indian rupees on Agalega. And this is why we need to know the cost. Because the more you spend, the more you want in return. That is why this taxpayer and the Republic of Mauritius have a right to know with the cost of the facility that a foreign country is putting on our territory? And what are the counterparty that are being given to this, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, he doesn't doubt his word. Is he going to make us believe that we're spending 14 billion rupees, Mauritian rupees, just to stop illegal fishing? To stop what? Human trafficking? What is it again? Drug smuggling? That we're spending, we can't even build a fishing port in Mauritius. We're going to spend 14 billion rupees of grant money, I grant you that. On this, does he honestly believe that this is the project and it is to improve the lives of Agaleans when half of North Island has now been taken by this, not a jetty, it is a full-scale port like the Mauritius Container Terminal, but small, a bit smaller, and it is not an airstrip, it is a 3-kilometer runway with quarters. You don't mention quarters for staff, you don't mention all the other facilities that are there, and the 2 huge hangars, the aircraft hangars that are built, and I have the pictures here, if you doubt my word, which I hope you will not.
Speaker, sir, let us see what has been our experience with regard to the development of Rodrigues. The airstrip that has been built has served us for a long time. And because of major developments in Rodrigues, there is an urgent need to have a new airstrip in order to accommodate bigger aircrafts. Much bigger aircraft than the ATR-72, I think, right? Now, my government, we started discussing with financial international institutions, with the European Union, in order to see how we can get their support in order to implement this new project. That is to lengthen the airstrip. And I don't want to go into the detail of Rodrigue, because this question is about Agalega, but just to say the experience that we are encountering. I don't know, I don't know how many billion of rupees we are for, maybe not for, more than that. No, for more than 4 billion rupees. I can tell you, more than 4 billion rupees.
Don't discuss about this.
Well, he is not agreeing. So, anyway, but even 4 billion rupees just to lengthen the airstrip of Rodrigues in order to accommodate new aircrafts, the landing of new aircrafts. And this is not yet already, let's say, concluded, because we are still discussing, and by the time that the project... You want to answer the question yourself? I am answering. Did I interrupt you when you were putting your question? But Mr. Speaker, sir, am I...
Let the Prime Minister reply.
Can I be allowed to answer the question without any interruption? Yes. If I can, then I'll continue. So Mr. Speaker, sir, that is why I say now we have a vision. We have a vision for Agalega. The vision is not the vision, of course, it is very different from the vision of the Labour PMSD former government.
This is not in order. Please, this is not in order. This is not in order.
The vision, they have a short-term vision. We have a long-term vision, a very long-term vision. And that is why instead of repairing the airstrip or constructing an airstrip which is going to accommodate, well, Dornier or ATR-72 and the likes, we have agreed with India that we build an airstrip that will, in fact, in the future, accommodate planes like B737-900, Airbus 321, just like for Rodrigues, what we want to do. Now, this is what we call future planning, because we want to develop Agalega. Agalega will be developed, you will just wait and see. And instead, Mr. Speaker, sir, the financing of this project is being given free from government of India. Instead of being grateful to India, look what kind of comments we are having. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I heard the Honorable Leader of the Opposition saying, yeah, I'm answering to your question. You put two questions in one. Let me answer. Let me answer, though. You talked about contrepartie. You talked about contrepartie. Let me answer. Yeah. So
You don't have the floor.
So, Honorable Leader of the Opposition is saying, well, India is financing it for so much, and there must be a counterparty. Let me give another example. The biggest infrastructural land transport project that we have, the Metro Express. And I must say, thanks to the government of India for the network from Port Louis to QPIP. They have given us half of the money as grant money. Half money, free. The opposition have been criticizing against this project initially. But now they see what the people think when they started to travel and so on. Now they are cooling down, Mr. Speaker, sir. So probably the leader of the opposition will say, what is the contrepartie? Because they are giving us grant money to implement this project. Well, you will see. In the future, you will see the contrepartie. You will bear the contrepartie so that I'm sure you will not be able to even talk about the contrepartie.
Mr. Speaker, you will note that I have only asked 2 supplementary questions so far. Now, the counterparty for the Metro Express, maybe the Prime Minister was not there, is the double taxation agreement, my friend. You should know that. That is the counterparty. This is why I'm asking you. You've just confirmed my point. What is the counterparty? Now I'm going to ask the Prime Minister. These are 2 huge aircraft hangars. Huge. Able to take the biggest civil or military planes. 2. You did not put that in your answer. 2. What are these hangars going to be used for? Because they are only in Mauritius, 1.3 million people. There are smaller hangars than this. Look in your notes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that actually what is being built is 1 hangar and 1 shelter for parking of the likes of Boeing 737-900 and Airbus 321 type of aircraft. This is my information. The passenger terminal that is being built also, of course, will be able to accommodate and service I'm told, about 50 passenger capacity.
We're not fools. Boeing 737 that the Prime Minister is mentioning is in fact a Poseidon P-81, which is the same as a Boeing 737. It's an anti-submarine warfare aircraft. It carries missiles. And that is the Boeing 737 that is going to be parked under these hangars. It belongs to the Indian Army, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
I can say shame.
You don't have the floor.
I can say shame.
You don't have the floor.
Shame is parliamentary.
You don't have the floor. Either you accept my ruling or you walk out from the chamber.
I don't have a
Thank you very much. Please, Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, I will continue. So this is for B737 P-81 aircraft. You can read the international press if you don't know what your civil servants are telling you. Why are these tunnels being built under the jetty? Why? Would you want to have a jetty? Big jetty, huh? Maybe as big as this room. And you have tunnels under the jetty. For what? What do you have to hide that is going to be unloaded from the ships that you would have, or you'll tell me you don't know either. What are these tunnels for? And go and check whether there will not be in 6 months' time Indian Army B-737 Poseidon aircraft and Indian troops. And I'm not saying it is right or it is wrong. I'm not saying it is right or it is wrong. But I'm saying that in the name of sovereignty of this Parliament and sovereignty of our nation, the Prime Minister has no right at all to hide this sort of information from the public of the inhabitants of Agalega and from the inhabitants of Mauritius. You have no right, Prime Minister. We are a sovereign Parliament and we're a sovereign country, and you, in 6 months' time, we will know, as you say, exactly. And you want us to believe that it is what? Air Mauritius is going to put the few aircraft that it has there?
Well, after the show of the leader of the opposition, he has the right to use his time for making a cinema and making a show, and saying that we are building now a parking for submarine. This is what I understood, a parking for submarine, anti-submarine, whatever it is at the jetty. But Boeing, at the jetties there's going to be Boeing now. Okay. Well, you never know, Mr. Speaker, sir. With the advance of technology, maybe in the future there can be such kind of equipment. But I'm informed that the development, that is the construction that is being done at the jetty, it is a duct for jetty services. There's no tunnel. There's no, I don't know what he's been mentioning, because he's been using some technical terms about to house a submarine or whatever it is. Nothing of that sort. And services are services like electrification, I'm told. But anyway, I've never been made aware of any such kind of construction for such submarine and so on, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Nobody mentioned submarine.
Time is over by 3 minutes. The table has been advised that PQ B938, 940, 944, and 945 have been withdrawn. Prime Minister's question time. Honorable Denou.
Thank you.
Voilà donc pour cette PNQ du leader de l'opposition. Ambiance plutôt bon enfant avec quelques échanges virulents, la question de ces deux projets, donc Agalega avec la piste d'atterrissage agrandie et la jetée. Et là, donc, vers cette fin de la PNQ, le point a été évoqué par Xavier Duval qui peut dire que dans 6 mois, l'armée indienne pouvait une gare sur un équipement sur aircraft donc dans l'île, et il peut même évoquer la création d'un tunnel sous la jetée en construction côté une troupe indienne pour capable venir sur place, et qui le Premier ministre pas gain droit cacher de telles informations aux Mauriciens, surtout pour la souveraineté du pays et la souveraineté du Parlement, ce à quoi Xavier Luc Duval fin dire qui n'a rien de la sorte, pas qu'on est qui chaud qui le leader de l'opposition peut faire pour cause l'eau, donc tunnel, il n'est pas question de tunnel, c'est un deck qui peut construire, donc avec la jetée, l'infrastructure qui est fini évoquée. Alors, il y a aussi un autre point que le Premier ministre finit évoquer. Il peut finir évoquer le hangar qui peut accueillir un Airbus et un Boeing, également Agalega, et il peut dire qu'il peut le passenger terminal pour avoir une capacité de 500 personnes. Alors, Xavier Duval fin très donc à cheval le ban point qui Premier ministre fin dire, les fin rappel qui il y a 2 hangars qui en construction qui Premier ministre pas fin évoqué, et également donc quarters for staff, les peut dire qui c'est un hangar là immense et qui même pour Maurice dans l'aéroport nous peine encore sa dimension là alors qu'il y en a 1,3 million habitants, et Xavier Duval fin aussi mettre l'accent Jagdish le point. Il dit que sa quantité d'investissement là, donc qu'il a peut faire, donc il n'est pas capable, donc expect qu'il peut en retour, et puis envie qu'on contrepartie qu'il a une période pour un investissement qui pour lui paye jusqu'à 14 milliards de roupies. Et alors que le Premier ministre peut dire que c'est un projet pour améliorer donc la vie benagalien, j'avais dû dire impossible que ça projet-là nazis ça comme but, hein, comme objectif, améliorer la vie benagalien, mais surtout pour lui, il n'est pas capable de cause uniquement la protection de la zone maritime de Maurice. J'avais dû trouve et n'a encore plus qui ça là-dedans. Et la question de rendre public donc les clauses confidentielles de l'accord qui est là entre Maurice et l'Inde, il dit qu'il y a une clause confidentialité qui n'est pas pour capable de révéler, et il finit le cas souvent devant les autres projets, et il finit d'ailleurs quand vous avez le Duval dans le gouvernement travailliste, côte finina aussi dans les autres accords avec les autres pays qui finissent garder secret, finina une clause de confidentialité. Le Premier ministre finit au départ rappelle un peu donc l'historique de sa projet-là qui finit démarrer depuis 2013 et finit une signature de l'accord avec la visite de Narendra Modi à Maurice et ensuite donc ça deux projets de la jetée et que la piste d'atterrissage le Premier ministre a dit important pour développer Agalega et il peut promettre qu'Agalega donc pour sur la voie du développement et qui est capable assurer et qui est capable faire ce projet-là avec la collaboration indienne. Donc, pareil, comme ça, je peux aussi développer les chagos. Voilà un peu, en substance, je dis les points saillants que le Premier ministre et que finit répondre à la PNQ de Xavier Luc Duval.
Donc, le Premier ministre Pravin Jagnat, il rappelle que c'est un accord qui Maurice a avec l'Inde et qui finit signé en mars 2015 quand le Premier ministre de l'Inde, Narendra Modi, vient donc en visite officielle à Maurice à l'occasion célébration fête de l'indépendance. Alors, ça l'accord-là, il finit une copie en partie déposée sur la table de l'Assemblée nationale le 31 mars 2015, mais là, leader de l'opposition, Xavier Duval, peut dire qu'il y a une clause de confidentialité qui reste toujours confident, donc reste toujours secrète. Et là, Xavier Duval peut dire, donc, besoin capable au moins de publier cette partie de l'accord pour qu'on vraiment qui est là entre le gouvernement de l'Inde et Maurice.
C'est-à-dire que le coût initial finit augmenté par rapport à ce qu'on dit qu'il était.
Ouais. Alors, le Premier ministre il mentionne un montant de 8,8 milliards de roupies qui déjà est investi pour le développement d'une infrastructure à Agalega. Et Xavier Duval peut penser qu'une fois les travaux avec autant de développement, autant d'infrastructures, les travaux sont capables d'atteindre le coût environ 14 milliards de roupies, alors qu'il fait la comparaison, peut construire par exemple un jetty d'une l'île côté n'a seulement 300 habitants, alors que Maurice, ici même, nous pas encore un fishing point. Alors, quand il est arrivé avec les travaux concernant c'est-à-dire l'aspect développement des infrastructures aéroportuaires, alors les travaux sont complétés à 88%, les civil works, et les sont capables de compléter totalement en septembre 2022. Donc ça, c'est pour le reste. Le jetty, il est déjà construit à environ 80% et il peut compléter en décembre 2022. Alors, et donc, nous pensons que d'ici avril-mai 2023, tout bon travaux pour déjà finir compléter à Agalega. Alors, concernant le staff personnel qui peut employer l'eau à Agalega, Premier ministre dit encore trop tôt, il est difficile pour identifier, alors qui, d'après lui, il dit qu'il y a une facilité qui pour là-bas à Agalega, il pour sous contrôle, sous administration de personnel mauricien. Alors, c'est-à-dire l'accord qui fait signer entre le gouvernement de Maurice et le gouvernement de l'Inde, d'après le Premier ministre, qui concerne surtout la recherche, la surveillance des eaux territoriales de Maurice, le Blue Economy également, et contrôle au niveau du trafic de la drogue. Alors, c'est un aspect qui, donc, Pravin Jagnat peut maintenir. C'est un développement qui concerne uniquement le développement de l'île, pareil comme on fin de passer à Rodrigue et qui peut continuer. Et donc, c'est une vision à long terme.
Le Premier ministre évoque donc la protection et la promotion donc et la sécurité maritime dans cette zone, donc et surtout protège nos zones économiques exclusives. C'est un peu l'idée de ce projet. Et le Premier ministre évoque aussi la question de counter-piracy et terrorisme, la lutte antiterrorisme dans la région. Un point important aussi qui finit évoqué, je dis, sur la question, donc les travaux peuvent faire par Afcons Limited, mais ce qui est le plus important, le Premier ministre finit préciser que c'est un travaux qui peut financer entièrement. Par le gouvernement indien. Et une fois qu'il a complété les infrastructures pour Maurice, et la question, nous avons Luc Duval, la question de ce PNQ initial, combien l'entretien pour coûter, le maintenance, le Premier ministre dit, il est trop bonheur pour capable mettre un coût, l'entretien, combien ça peut coûter annuellement pour donc ça infrastructure là, c'est ça qui, ça veut Luc Duval, tu peux envie connaître, donc il n'y a pas un fin gagne donc la somme, hein, donc c'est prématuré selon le Premier ministre pour répondre à sa question là, pareil comme à la question, tu peux dire, Jagdish, la question donc du staffing, donc qui ban du monde, qui ban spécialiste, qui peut bien travailler là-bas, donc le Premier ministre dit qu'il s'est prématuré pour capable cause ça des points là.
L'autre aspect, c'est surtout comment Agalega pour utiliser, d'après Xavier Duval. Alors, le Premier ministre, d'abord, il mentionne un avion B737 qui est capable d'atterrir également Airbus A321. Donc, c'est avec le développement de sa airstrip qui peut faire, c'est-à-dire une piste d'atterrissage. Mais Xavier Duval peut dire qu'au contraire, à la place Airbus, c'est un avion Poséidon qui peut capable transporter un missile et qui peut donc stocker, qui peut immobiliser dans la région. Et Xavier Duval peut dire qu'il peut construire aussi un jetty avec un développement souterrain, sous-marin, surtout, alors qu'il n'est pas nécessaire autant de développement, autant d'infrastructures dans une telle région. Mais là, le Premier ministre repousse tout ça, accusation-là, et toujours nous retrouvons dans sa controverse un aspect, c'est le développement de l'île, et l'autre aspect, est-ce qu'Agalega peut convertir en une base militaire, c'est-à-dire au profit de l'Inde, ce qui explique l'intérêt financier de l'Inde pour soutenir sa bande travaux-là. Et la presse internationale, tu peux dire un peu plus tôt, peut faire état, par exemple, de facilités militaires qui peut mettre en place, une infrastructure militaire, mais nous reste toujours deux positions. Un aspect, l'opposition qui peut dire c'est une base militaire, alors que le Premier ministre peut situer le développement, c'est-à-dire tout ça, travaux-là, dans le cadre une vision à long terme pour qui place Agalega dans le courant du développement.
Voilà, we have a vision for Agalega, very long-term vision, c'est ce que le Premier ministre finit de dire. Et au Parlement, Jagdish Shakil Mohamed finit à l'instant, et donc les fins quitte donc le Parlement, le speaker donc là sur ses pieds, il peut menace de trouver donc plusieurs parlementaires, on pensait Eshan Juman aussi, qui encore assis, et l'opposition donc le trouve donc à l'image.
Si nous sommes capables de gagner le son peut-être,
s'il vous plaît, la passer.
Dear and Honorable Juan, either you keep quiet on this issue or you walk out from the chamber. Now, you continue.
Yes, so Mr. Speaker, sir, I was saying that I never phoned him personally, Dr. Ramgulam, while he was admitted at Welkin Hospital. It is in fact his wife who phoned me, seeking failed to organize the urgent medical members had so far failed to organize the urgent medical evacuation of Dr. Ramgulam.
So order both sides of the House. Order both sides of the House. There has been a question put. There should be a reply, and let the Prime Minister reply.
So I was saying that she sought the assistance of the government as the Labour Party members had so far failed to organize the urgent medical evacuation of Dr. Ramgulam. Mr. Speaker, sir, thereafter, I personally called at Welkin Hospital to take stock of the situation, and I even had a meeting with the medical team in the presence of certain prominent members of the Labour Party, namely Honorable Asiavaden, Honorable Boulel, Honorable Omir. You were there.
You wait. I am on my feet. I am on my feet. Oh, I am on my feet. So I am ordering you out. I am ordering you out. Honorable Patrick Asiavaden, I am ordering you out. I am ordering you out. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms, I am ordering him out.
Le Premier ministre ment.
I am blaming you. I am blaming you. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms. I am suspending the sitting.
La séance est suspendue. Le speaker arrive même presque à côté de Patrick Asiavaden et Patrick Asiavaden aussi. Et la séance est levée alors que le speaker quitte ce siège. C'est là qu'il dit qu'il peut suspendre la séance. Voilà donc sur sa agitation-là, sa séance-là finit être suspendue. Nous avons l'occasion de dire et Revin Losman pour là, c'était une question
qui concerne
le financement du déplacement de
médical
en Inde. Et donc, c'est cette question-là qui finit de mettre un peu le feu aux poudres. Hein. Nous avons l'occasion, Revin Lo, sa compte rendu là, dans une édition de 13 heures. Voilà.
Et une petite précision concernant le naming de Patrick Asiavaden. Donc, certainement, pour une motion à la reprise, là, quand séance pourrait prendre.
Tout comme pour Shakil Mohamed aussi.
S'il fin name.
Il name.
Donc, dans ce cas, et pour une motion, deux motions du Premier ministre qui vous demandent une suspension. Et donc, je peux suspendre pour certaines séances. Et aujourd'hui même, Rajesh Bhagwan, il répond sur place, après qu'il ait fait name, il suspend pour 2 séances. Et là, nous pouvons bien connaître exactement combien de séances Patrick Asiavaden et Shakil Mohamed pour être privés de participation dans le Parlement. Alors, chaque mardi, le Parlement besoin de Jean-Luc, nous constater qu'il y a beaucoup d'agitation, beaucoup d'irritation, et chaque fois, c'est un député de l'opposition qui peut subir une telle situation de suspension, expulsion, suspension dans les travaux du Parlement.
Voilà, donc pour la compte rendu des travaux de ce matin, nous pouvons bien sûr venir en détail là, à 13h dans une grande édition de la mi-journée et aussi dans l'après-midi, donc dans nos grands journaux. Voilà pour cette partie des travaux. Mais si je fais une suivi, nous nous retrouvons plus tard.